Hi, and welcome back. Today we're going to practice a Yin Yoga practice. So this is a Yin Yoga class that's designed for beginners. So if you're new to Yin Yoga, or you haven't practiced Yin Yoga with me before, I'm just going to give you a little bit of information so you kind of know what to expect. So Yin Yoga is a very passive style of yoga, mostly floor postures that are held for several minutes at a time. And when we hold the pose for several minutes at a time, we start to apply a very positive and safe stress to the deeper tissues in the body. We're working on the deeper layers of connective tissue in the Yin Yoga. So whereas your regular kind of most yoga classes practiced today would be more yang in nature, they would be quite active and quite dynamic, and these styles of yoga work more on the muscles, so they work on strengthening the muscles, stretching the muscles, building stability and engaging the muscles. So the Yin Yoga goes a little bit deeper and works on the connective tissues, so we're working on our ligaments, our joints, our fascial networks, and even our bones. And then energetically, Yin Yoga will also stimulate our meridian lines. So our meridians are like energy channels running through the body. And through these long, slow, passive holds of the Yin Yoga, we start to influence these meridians. And we begin to release sort of stagnant energy and blockages. So if you imagine the meridians are like little rivers running through the body, they can get a little bit blocked up or a little bit stagnant, and then the energy is not moving freely through them, and this can lead to all sorts of other sort of complications. But generally we want things to flow, we want energy to flow. So the Yin Yoga will definitely help with that. So yeah, we are going to get started. Like I said, this is a beginner's class, so we are going to be holding each pose for 2 minutes at a time. So let's begin, okay? So I've got a couple of props, and you might need to pause the video to go and get yourself these things. I'm using just a little blanket to sit on, and then I've got a couple of pillows that I've just grabbed off my couch, just in case I need some support. So get a little bit of support in these, and we will get started. I'm also going to be using a timer on my phone, just so that I can keep the time for you, and then we can relax into the poses. So here we go. Just bear with me 1 moment. So the first pose we're going to do is what we call butterfly. So we bring the soles of the feet together. I'm sitting up on a little blanket just to give my hips a little bit of height. And I've got a little diamondy shape in my inner thighs. So I'm going to hinge at my hips, and I'm going to come forward. And I'm only coming forward to as far as I can comfortably go without causing any stress or kind of tension in the body. So we want to keep the inner body really nice and soft. I'm going to fold forward as far as I can comfortably go. I'm going to let my hands rest just in front of my feet. Just remember, you don't want to feel any tension in the body, so we want to really try and keep a nice softness through the inner body. And in Yin Yoga, we're trying to keep our muscles soft. So really start to settle down into the legs. And you might notice that my back is rounded, so that's okay, because we're not not using muscular strength to hold us here, it's okay to round a little. And we want to get that little bit of a curve in the back. And if at this stage I wanted to prop, I could take my pillows and I could rest my head just down like this. I'm going to need to lift my head just to talk you through it, but you can keep your heads resting down. So in the Yin Yoga, we come into a pose to the point where we start to feel some sensation in the body, but we really want to be able to relax nicely, so we're not going too deep. Then we become still, relaxing our muscles, relaxing our back, letting the breath settle. And then we hold for some time. So just keep relaxing, keep softening. And if you start to feel that the body's tensing up or you can't breathe really comfortably, then just ease back a small bit. We've got another few seconds here. So then to come out of the pose, we're going to gently lift up, restacking up our vertebrae, restacking the spine. And we're going to do a little counter pose, so the legs can come back together. We're separating the feet, and we're just going to keep some space between the feet, just let the legs fall from side to side. Just to ease out any little bit of tightness there. Okay. And then back to the centre. I'm going back up on my little folded blanket. And now we are stretching our legs nice and wide. But remember, we're not trying to get the biggest stretch possible. We're just coming to a comfortable place. Open out the legs, coming to our comfortable place. And then just try not to sort of engage the legs too much. Keep them nice and relaxed. Lift up through the front body. We can inhale here. And then as we exhale, we start to come forward, sort of straight down to the middle. And just remember, we're not going for our biggest stretch possible. We're coming to the point where we can feel that we've met a little bit of resistance. And then we're just becoming still. Relaxing our muscles as much as we can. And you'll notice the legs might have the tendency to grip and to hold, so try to let go of any gripping. Try to relax your thighs, the backs of your legs, your feet. And once your legs and feet are relaxed, you might notice the feet might turn out a little bit or they might turn in, so just try to let them be where they want to naturally be. Mine naturally turn in a small bit, but yours might be different depending on your structure, your skeletal structure. Notice your breathing. Maybe once you've been in this shape for a minute or so, you might notice that the body opens and you can go a little bit deeper. Try to stay soft in the muscles. And imagine your inner body to be like a river. You want it to be flowing, you want it to be soft. If you want to relax the head, you can let it go. Bring a nice little stretch towards the back of the neck. Okay, so our time's up, so we're going to ease our way back up. We can start to engage the hands and the feet a little bit, the arms and the feet as we come back up. We restack up our spine. lengthen up. And now this time we're going to go down over the right leg. So I'm going to take a pillow, just in case I want a little bit of support. So again, I'm going to turn my torso to the right a little bit. I'm going to lengthen up. Nice in-breath, and as I breathe out, I walk down over that leg, or I fold down over that leg. And just remember, for me this is early in the morning, so my body's still a little bit tight, so I'm not going as deep as I would in the evening. But I'm really minding my body, I'm not overstretching, I'm not looking for a big sensation here. It's a nice softness. So I'm coming into the shape. I'm noticing my edge, where it's not too much, not too little. I'm just starting to feel a bit of sensation. Then I'm becoming still, muscularly unengaged. I'm just willing to surrender to this experience. Noticing my breathing, noticing the sensations in the body, noticing when my body is asking me to go a little bit deeper to still feel those sensations. But bearing in mind that you don't want too much sensation. You want to feel that softness in the inner body. And if I start to feel too much sensation, then I just back out a little bit. So that I can keep that softness, I can keep that nice relaxed feeling inside. And then we're just holding for some time. Okay. And our time is up. So we're going to engage our muscles just a little bit as we come out of the pose. Coming up slowly. Sometimes we can feel a little bit fragile as we come up, and that's completely normal as we kind of release those tissues again, but it soon passes. Then we're turning to the other side. So I'm turning towards my left leg. And inhaling as I lengthen. And then exhaling as I fold down, just as far as I can comfortably go. And just knowing that this side may be completely different to the other side. So come into my edge where I'm feeling some sensation, but it's not too much. And then becoming still. And just noticing everything that's happening right now. Excuse me. So noticing the sensations in my body. Noticing the breathing. Noticing how after I've been in the pose for a few breaths, I can naturally sink in a little bit deeper. But I'm still being aware of the fact that I want to stay nice and soft on the inside. I'm not pushing, I'm not pulling, I'm not gripping, I'm surrendering into this experience. If I want something to rest my head on, I can take a pillow, I can rest down. And then to come up, lift the head, start to engage the arms and the legs a little bit as you back out, re-stacking up your vertebrae. Bringing the legs back in and coming back to that windshield wipers stretch, where we've got the feet just a little wider than hip distance. And we can just release into one side, then the other. So we're just easing out the hips. Breathing easy. Okay. So we're going to come into a child's pose now. So now we want to have the knees not too wide. So we're kind of bringing things in a little bit again now. So we're just coming forward over the legs, stretching the arms out, letting the head come down to the floor. You know the drill. And if you like, you can always fold the arms and let the head rest there. Or you can take the arms back towards the feet. So you're going to stay in your child's pose and just allow the body to become really soft, really relaxed. We're here for another 30 or 40 seconds. And particularly relax your hips and your lower back. Let everything soften. Okay, you can lift the head. We're going to come to all fours. And then from all fours, we're bringing the elbows down onto the shoulders. The hands come forward. And we're going to slide the legs back. And we're coming into Sphinx pose. You can just bring the palms of the hands together. Let the feet be a comfortable distance apart. So we're here for 2 minutes. And starting to relax into the back, especially the lower back. So coming to the point where you feel that you've met your edge. You can feel some sensation in the body, but it doesn't want to be too much. And now trying to relax your body. And in this case, the arms are working a little bit to hold us here. But we want to relax the back, the lower back especially. We want to relax our legs, our buttocks. They tend to clench up a little bit, so let the buttocks be soft, the backs of the thighs. Relax your abdomen. Your hips. Notice your breathing. Keep relaxing the front of your body. So we're going to move now into a slightly deeper back bend. So we're bringing the hands a little bit out in front and the palms are slightly turned out. So this is called seal pose. And you'll notice straight away that you can feel a little bit more bend in your back. So if you're feeling too much sensation already, you can just let the hands come further forward. And if you want to feel a little bit more sensation, you can bring them a little bit closer to you. So this is going to bring the sensation a little bit further up your back. So again, remember, we want to soften, and we really particularly want to soften the areas of the body that we're working on. So where you're feeling the stretch more, that's where you want to relax into. So again, the arms are holding us here, but try to relax the legs, the buttocks, the back, the front of your body, so your chest, even your internal organs soften. Try to feel this nice softness through the inner body. And we won't hold this upward position for the full 2 minutes. So we're going to come back down now into our Sphinx. So just bringing the elbows back to the floor, and this time just keeping the hands forward. Nice bit of space between the hands and fingers. Relax into your back, your lower back, your abdomen, the backs of your legs. And if you're feeling too much stress, you can always bring the arms a little bit further forward. Keep softening. And we're done. So we're going to just fold one hand over the other. Let your forehead come down and rest on top of the hands. Try to soften the whole body here. Relax your lower back. Your hips. Your legs. And for the next few rounds of breath, try to bring your breath, especially your in-breath, try to bring the in-breath right down to the lower belly. And just notice how this will gently rock your pelvis, and it will soothe your back, your lower back. We're going to lift up again. And we're coming back to a child's pose with the knees just a little bit wider apart than you had them last time. So this time we're going to stretch the arms out in front of us. Let the forehead rest down on the ground, or even on one of your pillows or your blanket or your folded arms. Keep resting and breathing here. Keep softening your lower back. Then we're lifting the head. We're coming up, restacking up our vertebrae, one on top of the other. Legs come together, and then we're taking the legs back out to the front. So we're going to come now into what we call shoelace. So for this pose, I'm going to cross my right leg over my left. And I'm bringing it over so the outside edge of my foot is resting on the floor. Left leg is stretched out in front. I'm going to inhale as I lengthen up a little. And then as I exhale, I start to come forward. So coming forward to the point where I'm feeling some stretch. I'm feeling some sensation, but it's not too much. Then I'm becoming still. Trying to let my muscles relax here. And just surrendering into this experience. Noticing how my body feels. Enjoying the quietude, the quietness. Noticing my breathing. And noticing too how possibly your brain, your mind has started to relax as well. There's maybe not so many thoughts rushing through the mind. But just being aware of them too. And then easing up out of that. Again, re-stacking up our vertebrae, one on top of the other. Bringing out the leg and going straight to the other side. So left leg coming up, coming over, so the outside edge of the foot is on the ground. And just letting the right leg be. Lengthening up, we can inhale here. And then as we exhale, hinging at the hips, folding forward, coming to the point where you meet your edge. And just remembering we're doing the other side now, so we might feel different sensations. We might feel that it's almost like a different pose as we do the other side, as we're never really balanced in our bodies. So coming to the edge. And just allowing the body to become still. Muscularly unengaged, but stretched. And willing to give in to the pull of gravity. Willing to surrender to what is happening now, to this experience. And then hold in for some time. And as we start to hold these poses for longer periods of time, the body becomes still. And then after a while, the breath becomes still. The breathing slows. And then you notice the mind becomes much more still. There is a natural calmness, a natural sense of peace and tranquility. Softness, all is well. We're easing our way up now, restacking our spine. Taking that leg down, just for a moment, leaning back to the hands, bit of space between the feet, and just gently turning the legs in and out, easing them out. There might be some sensation of fragility or a little bit of tightness in the hips, so just be being gentle with yourself, being tolerant. Real shake. And now we're coming down onto our backs. Scooting the hips forward. We're going to do a spinal twist. So have a pillow just in case you need it for support. We're going to bring the knees in towards the chest and then roll completely over onto your right side. And just for a moment, left hand on top of right, knees coming in towards the chest. And at this point, if you want to, you can put a pillow in between the knees. That can just give you that nice little bit of support. Then we're going to bring the left arm up and over. And as that arm opens out, you'll feel a lovely stretch through the chest. We're keeping our gaze just upwards for this variation. So we're becoming still. We're keeping a real softness through the inner body. Body is relaxed. The breath is soft. The mind is calm. So bringing that arm back over. We're coming back over onto our backs. And we go into the other side. So coming over into the fetal position on your left side. Left hand on top of the right. Sorry, right hand on top of the left. Using the pillow if you need it between the knees. And then opening the right arm out to the side. And at this point you might even want a pillow. You could have a pillow under the arm to give the arm some support. So gaze is up towards the ceiling. And just letting the body soften. Letting the body relax. Giving in to the pull of gravity. And being mindful. The Yin is a very mindful practice. So noticing the sensations in your body. Noticing your breathing rhythm. Noticing the thoughts as they move through your mind. Try not to hold on to anything, so letting each thought just come and then go. Surrendering to what is now.
slowly bringing that right arm back over. We can come over onto our back again. And for the next pose, I'm going to take my little folded up blanket. So if you've got one nearby, you can grab it. We're going to sit up, lift up the hips and just pop that little blanket right under the pelvis. It doesn't want to be too high, but just to give us a little bit of support. And then the knees come in towards the chest. I've got my lower back supported with that folded blanket. I'm taking the knees a little bit wider apart. And this could be enough. You may just want to stop here. Remember, we want to keep it soft so we're not overdoing it. It's more kind of being than doing in the Yin Yoga. Or it's more undoing. Or we can take the feet up and we can come to our happy baby pose. So if you're taking the feet up, you're bringing the hands towards the outside edges of the feet, the elbows are towards the insides. And we're holding here. So we're coming into the shape. We're becoming still. We're softening our inner body. We're softening our breath. We're holding for a little bit of time. Try to stay present, either focusing on your breath, the sensations in the body, or the thoughts softly passing through your mind, keeping the practice mindful. So we're going to release the grip of the feet or the grip of the knees if you're holding the knees. Bring the legs back towards each other. Let your feet find the floor. And you can take out the little blanket that you had under your buttocks. Stretch out your legs. And we come into Shavasana, our relaxation pose. Arms down by the sides. Bit of space between the feet, palms facing up. Just totally giving your body permission to let go now, the whole body. Letting go of any gripping, any tightness, really checking in with the inner body. Is there anywhere that you can let go? Or even anywhere that you can let go just a little bit more. Surrender, giving in to the pull of gravity. bring your attention back to your body. Starting to move your hands, your feet, your toes, your fingers. Bend up the legs. Roll to your side. And then using your hands to help you come up to a seated position. Okay. So just sitting for a moment, resting the hands over the legs. And just noticing how your body feels. Bringing the hands together, taking them in front of your heart, in front of your chest. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, bowing the head, bowing the forehead down to the hands, bringing the practice to a close. Namaste. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that practice. My body feels lovely now. I feel really soft on the inside and really ready for my day. So I hope you do too, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.